Hello, buddy. Sarge here. A little input here. If you want someone who is so smart at talking, who knows how to convey the words properly, and who just sounds so smart, watch Decoy Boys. Watch Brandon Herrera. Watch Donut Operators. Brandon Herrera / Donut Operators video on this. Watch Angry Cops videos on this. Legit anyone else but me. This is just a person looking in. Just someone saying, something. This was people are doing stupid stuff, and they're just rolling with it. This is just me stating the obvious as a person who is not even politically there, who just hates politics because of these reasons in particular. It was just like, hey, this is my 2 cents on this. This is what I think about this. This is kind of dumb. You have your own opinions about this, but what happened, and that's how I see it. And this is a person who watches a lot of police body cam footage, who talks to a lot of law enforcement officer, who is around a lot of law enforcement officers, who is trained in that area to an extent. So this is me with my knowledge, with my civilian knowledge of just saying, hey, this is what I think about it. And I don't know. I'm terrible with explaining things. So I go over things a lot. I go over things over and over and over again to give you my direct opinion and my opinion about it, to try not get confused, because and in a way I don't really know how to talk that properly well. So if you do ever get confused, guess what? I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I'll try to reiterate it as much as I can. If you got any questions about it, yeah, shoot me a shot. But yeah, I just want to say, if you want someone professional talking about this ain't your guy. This is Joe Smo over here talking about things that he doesn't really talk about. And so yeah, enjoy the video. Hello everybody, Sarge here. This video is going to be centered around the shooting that happened in Minneapolis. And at the first month of the year of 2026, on the 24th day, I think it was happening yesterday, the 24th day. I don't make videos like this because personal opinion. I mean, I could, but at the same time, I don't want to deal with drama. I just want to give my 2 cents on this, and my 2 cents, in my opinion, makes sense. So what happened? You got a protester who is protesting against ICE, which is already pretty freaking bad. You protesting against ICE doesn't fix anything. It doesn't do anything. There are government, and it has shown multiple times that when the government does something, you just have to deal with it. You're gonna have to deal with it unless they start impeding on your right. Then you're gonna have to deal with it. People dealt with the government shutdown. People are gonna have to deal with ICE, and people are gonna deal with ICE. You protesting doesn't do anything. It's suck and phallus. It's a suck and phallus policy. To protesters who are protesting against ICE already have a bad rep, and it being the big year that it is, ever since like 2020 onward, people have been more radical, and it is a bad thing. And those protesters are proof of it's still becoming more radical with anything you do that involves with protesting or involves with pushing back on something. Besides the Stop Killing Games movement and, general normie niche things, those do a great job. But when it comes to real life things like Elon Musk and ICE and like who's coming into office, it's been always very radical and violent. It's always been violent. So you guys are already known and associated with violence, which is another terrible thing. So 2 things out of the way: you shouldn't be a protester, and you shouldn't be a radical protester, or you shouldn't be violent at all. I do support protesting, just very peaceful, and the right way of doing it. Do it the right way. Don't do it the way you've been doing it ever since like 2020. The reason why I say 2020 is because it's the only time I've actually seen stuff. Downward, I have not paid attention. I was a young lad. So don't go after me about the other extreme things that happen. I'm talking about the things that I've seen. So yeah, great. You could protest, just do it right. But every time I've seen a protest from 2020 onward, besides, stop killing the games and, normie things, it's been pretty peaceful on that part. But everything else has been radically bad. So, you have a guy walking out protesting in the street, which is already bad. You giving attention to yourself, even though this ICE agent's right there. He's jaywalking. We're going to put this bare bones. He's jaywalking. He's currently committing a crime. He's impeding on the flow of traffic. He's trying to tell this one car to come through, and I wouldn't even do that to you, because if I see a bunch of protesters in the street, I'm pulling my gun out. Because guess what? You guys are already not doing anything peaceful. You are impeding on the flow of traffic, and by my past experiences with protesters, you guys are, for one, in the street, so you're not being peaceful. And two, if you're in the street, what else are you gonna do? You could be throwing rocks at my car for I know. Even though you might not be, you could always attack my car because you're in the street. If you're in the sidewalk, cool. If you do that, I would be pissed. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind you, since you're on the sidewalk, you're doing everything lawfully. You're in the street. You're impeding on the flow of traffic. You're breaking a law. So great. I'm already scared for my life right then there, because someone's on the street who I know, who I can identify as a protester, and of all my years of knowing what protesters are, they could be radical for all I know. So I'm already scared for my life. Congratulations, you guys pulled that verdict on everybody else. You are the only ones to blame. So you got a guy committing a crime. He drew attention to himself. Well, actually, no way. He, for some reason, told a car to come by him. She's like, "Oh, you can go on." It's like, I'm staying right where I'm at. I'm backing away, if anything. You could go into my car for all I care as soon as I pass you. But he somehow thinks he has the authority to tell a car to move out of the way, which he doesn't. If anything, if anyone has the authority, it's not Joe Schmo. It's not you. You don't get to tell anyone to do that. So he's already impeding on the flow of traffic, which is a crime. Again, I cannot stress this enough. He's committed a crime while peacefully protesting. Great, fantastic. So he drew attention to himself. There's ICE agents everywhere. Why would you do this? Number one thing, ICE agents should have never even talked to him, because they're there for the illegals. You're upholding a specific kind of law. The law that our people who are here illegally need to come out. That is the law you're upholding. You're not pulling anybody over unless they're illegal. You're not doing any stops on foot unless they're illegal. That dude was just breaking the law. I personally believe that they're basically like bounty hunters. They have a specific amount of jurisdiction that they can do, and they have the specific amount of force that I think that they should, in my opinion, enforce. They're not gonna do anything if I'm just jaywalking, because that's not their job. That's not their job. But guess what? They did something stupid and walked over to the guy and tell him to back off. Guess what? This guy never even told him that he was armed. He didn't even throw his hands up. He's like, "Hey, I got CCW on." Yo, man. Because guess what? That was his fatal thing. When you're talking to a police officer, when you interact with a police officer, here's my rule of thumb. If it's something casual, like walking by him, you don't have to say, "I have a CCW on." Whoa, whoa, hey, whoa. No, because guess what? That interaction is not going to last long. Now, if the cop starts to make conversation with you, if you feel like this conversation is going to last more than like a few minutes, be like, "Hey, sir, just a heads up, I got a CCW on me," so, stuff like that. If you feel like this conversation is going to lead to something longer, then I would suggest that. I would suggest telling them that. But this is on your own jurisdiction. Personal opinion, I wouldn't, because unless the conversation turns into that way, or unless you feel like you've done something wrong, and guess what? A lot of people think they did nothing wrong. So if the officer says, "Hey, you got anything on you?" Then you say, "Hey, yes, sir, I do." Pull your hands up. It's like, "Yes, I do." Do it slowly. It's like, "Hey, do it very slowly. I got a CCW on me." You could check me. I give you permission to unload my weapon and stuff like that. You could check my wallet. I got a permit, unless this is a right to carry state. Like, guess what? That doesn't matter unless you're of age. You can carry your gun, and be very respectful, very calm with them. Don't make any sudden movements. But that's the only time, in my opinion, besides you being in a car and a traffic stop. I don't care. A traffic stop is a investigation. If they're investigating you, put your hands on the steering wheel. Make sure your hands are up here. First thing they say, it's like, hey, I got a CCW on me. There's one in my car and there's two on me. I carry two guns on me all the time. And this is a very important thing to tell. Very important thing. I'd be like, hey, I got a CCW. What do you want me to do? And they'll tell you what to do. Just keep your hands up. There's body cameras nowadays. Not with eyes, apparently, but there's body cameras nowadays. Put your hands up. Make them seen. Congratulations. Now you won't get shot. But he didn't do that. So they take him down. Took a lot of officers on him. So I'm going to rightfully assume he was resisting massively. They probably didn't tell him that I have a gun on me. That's a bad thing. One of the officers took the gun away from him. Now you see some more scuffling and then shots fired. That's a lot. That's a lot, right? Okay, let me break this down with you. You have a guy here actively resisting. You know he's a protester. Those protesters have a bad rap. They know it. We all know it. Protesters have a bad rap. Unless you're one of those protesters, you won't agree with me, and that's cool. Yeah, that's a fantastic opinion. I'm invoking my opinion too. Congratulations. You're not going to convince me otherwise. Protesters have a bad rap. So you have a protester who already has a bad rap. These certain protesters are advocating for violence against ICE officers. Cool. Great. This is already going to be high risk. This is already high risk. You made the stupid decision to go over there and be like, hey, stop that. Why? You're not there for him. You're not there for him. Don't do this. But guess what? You're doing it anyways. Cool. Let's go through it. Anyways. Then he's actively resisting. Great. That's fantastic. We don't know if he's armed yet. Guess what? He didn't tell us. No, he didn't. Then you see one of your officers pull a gun out from him. Oh crap, he already has a gun. Wow, he has a gun? He didn't tell us? He could have more guns. He's actively resisting. Oh wow. Shots fired. End scene. So, with the information I gave you, would you think this is still reasonable use of force? Personal opinion, no, but because you have a guy resisting. He has a gun. He didn't tell you he has a gun. Great. He could have more guns on you. I carry more guns. I carry two guns on me. I have a Glock and I have a 380. Then I'll walk with them every day. And I walk with my friend. He's like, dude, I didn't even know you had those two on you. I was like, yes, I do. I always carry two guns on me. And that 380 is a pocket-sized pistol. So a pocket pistol in that Glock, pretty big. It's a 20 rounder. Pretty big. It's on my back. If I wear something big like my jean jacket, you would have to be looking for it in order to find it. But my 380, you can't find that thing on me anywhere. Can't do it. So guess what? He could have another gun on him. He could have a 22. He could have a 380. He could have something very small, pocket size. He could have a freaking Derringer. Gun's a gun. Gun's a gun, and it's still lethal. All right, sorry. Let me backtrack. One of the dogs were whining. So yeah, you got a guy who already has a gun, didn't tell you, and he's still actively resisting. In these scenarios, pointing your own gun out is totally like, I wouldn't blame you, because like I said, he has a gun. He never told you in the first place too. He has a gun. You don't know if you have a second one. Like I said, I carry two guns on me all the time. Totally legal. It's a state of Tennessee. I'm above the age of 18. I can do it. I can absolutely do that. Right to carry. Congratulations. Hoorah. Love Tennessee. Sadly, you can't open carry a rifle, which would have been amazing. But whatever. So yes. And then shots were fired. Was that a logical step to take? No, it wasn't logical. It was not logical. I don't think that they should have even done that in the first place. But given the facts that he was actively resisting still, because you have so many cops on him, but for some reason, they shot him. They probably couldn't see his hands at all, which would be very logical. Thankfully, our protesters have amazing phones built in the mid thousands, so the quality is amazing. For protesters, you think they would have good phones that they capture everything pretty well, but they don't. For what I've seen, I couldn't see his hands out or anything like that. So reasonable assumption, he's probably trying to reach for something, most likely, because how those protesters are, they are drilled in to be defiant against ICE, defiant against anybody, any law enforcement. So, it would not be far fetched to see to assume that he was actively resisting or trying to get into something else. It doesn't matter if they checked him and he didn't have any other guns. It really doesn't matter. It all matters on how it's shown out of the outside view. Give you an example. It was a long time ago. I was at a Halloween party and I was dressed up as a cowboy. I had a little cap gun, and I went to grab it. I went to grab it. And it was like, "Yo, you got a gun?" He was like, "Nah, man, it's just a cap gun." And it's all about the presentation. I didn't have a real gun on me, but it showed, and my actions perceived me assuming I had a real gun on me. See, it's all about the perception of it. It doesn't matter in the first place if it's there or not. It's all about the perception, because as humans, we make logical leaps and assumptions. A lot of humans don't, aka the protesters. But a good amount of us have logical leaps of, if I'm going to go down in something, in my pants to grab something, it's probably going to be a gun. It's probably going to be some sort of weapon. But yes, they shot him, and this thing shouldn't have happened in the first place, because that's not their jurisdiction. They shouldn't have done that in the first place, but they decided to do it anyways. Personal opinion, I think it's natural selection. But it's sad that he broke so many rules to lead up to this in the first place. If this was a police issue, it would have been clean cut. He did a lot of wrong things, and what happened was cause and effect. You decide to jaywalk, you decide to make attention to yourself, you decided not to do a protest properly, and guess what? You decided not to clarify you had something on you appropriately that is a lethal weapon. And even though you are lawfully carrying, you still have to disclose that, because that is at the very least, that's the most respectful thing you could do, because guess what? Guns are lethal. The person behind the gun are lethal. They don't know who you are. They don't know who you are. You can look like the most friendliest person on earth. You can still do bad things. But it's just a lot of things he did wrong. If this was law enforcement, then it would have been clean cut. Bam, you did wrong. You paid the consequences. This is a teaching moment. You're part of the statistics. But this is not, because it's ICE. ICE is different. ICE is there for the illegals. They're not there to uphold every single law in the book. In my opinion, they should be there just for the illegal people. Not for me, not for you. But that happened. And you should treat ICE as if they are law enforcement, because they have power like that. Even though they're not law enforcement, it doesn't mean you should just respect the crap out of them. Would you treat your mama like you would treat ICE? No, you wouldn't. Because your mom doesn't have authority over you. You're a grown-ass man or woman. You do whatever you want. So why not treat him like ICE? Oh, what? But she's your family. She's a human being. But guess what? So are ICE. They're just doing their job. I hate them too. I don't like them. They've been overstepping a lot. But at the same time, this should be a teaching moment to not mess with ICE. And even if they do mess with you, freaking comply. What's so hard about complying? They arrest you. Cool. You just goes, they have a gun. Cool. They disarm you. Cool. They arrest you. Cool. You get thrown in jail for like a day or two. Cool. Guess what? You get to sue. Cool. Guess what? You get money. Wow. That's so cool. Or guess what? You get thrown in jail for a few days. Deal with it. It's your fault you went out of the line in the first place. Be a decent human being. What happened was terrible, yes. And I'm sorry that someone had to die. But it's natural selection, and this could have been avoided. this could have been avoided as much as that shooting like that girl. I don't really care about that girl, to be honest. She did so many things wrong. It's totally her fault. But you just can't. You can't do a protest like you've been doing. This could have all been avoided if you just were on the sidewalk. This could have been avoided if you were on the sidewalk. This could have been avoided if your protester ideologies made you protest right. Guess what? They don't. And this is probably going to continue happening. In the sake of we're doing something. You're not doing anything. You're just promoting natural selection at this point. Sarge here signing off. Make sure to bye. Hello, buddy. Sarge here. A good few days after the video I made, after some evidence came out, after I watched Angry Cop's video on it, and Donut Operator, Burning Hurriers and Donut Operators collab on the video of, what's this dude's name? Pretti? Joe Pretti? Pretti. Covering Pretti. I really don't care about this man. It's just the actions that he did. After recovering, them covering Pretti, I have some stuff to say. So, going off of Angry Cop's video, the reason why the ICE officers went over to the man is because he was basically interfering. Do with that as you will. I'm pretty sure the entire reason why he walked over into the road, committed a crime, jaywalked into the road, was to try to interfere with the arrest that was apparently happening right in front of him. That happened. I do briefly, after watching the stuff, briefly saw like something commotion happen over there. So he was in a way interfering. Now he's not directly interfering. He is passively interfering, meaning probably yelling, getting too close to comfort to the arresting individual and stuff like that. You see it happen all the time with police investigations. Oh, why did they cross us off over here, even though what happened was all the way over there? Well, they don't want you to interfere, because if you get too close to comfort, you get to do stuff. So that is the main reason why they want, and police officers want distance, a large amount of distance, is because even if you're slightly close enough, you can do something. They don't know you. I can't express this enough. They don't know you. They don't know who you are. They've never been there at your childbirth. They weren't there. It's not like that scenario with this dude who got a speeding ticket. It was like, oh, I need to go to see my boy. And the cop's like, okay, let me follow you. And he follows him to see him grow up. Actually, no, they went into the hospital and he picked out a random girl. It was like, hey, I gotta do this, get a speeding ticket. And they followed it. It's not that situation. There's no cop on you watching you grow up. He doesn't know about you, or she doesn't know about you. So they don't know if you're gonna come up and do something, which has happened before, because we live in amazing, crazy, stupid times. So yes, that's the main reason why they want distance. They don't know you. They see a random person coming up, yelling and screaming and putting their hands up and everything, to a scenario that is rather high stress. So I do see the reason why the officers went after him is because he was too close. You see it happen all the time. Let me reiterate. Let me say this again. You do not have to be right up somebody's no square to do something. You can be 6 feet away, a few feet away, and something can happen. It doesn't matter. As long as you're like eyesight from somebody, something can happen. Something will happen. Even if you're like double arm's length from somebody, or triple that, something can happen in just a snap. So that doesn't matter how close he was or how far away he was. If it was close enough, what he did was pretty bad. I wanted him to go away from me too if I was trying to arrest somebody. He was too close for comfort for me. It doesn't matter how close you are. It matters how far away you are. Because if you're close, you're close. If you're far away, guess what? You're far away. I don't really care about you. You're all the way over there on the other side of the street, not jaywalking. It's just stupid. So yes, the main reason why the officers went over there is because he was interfering. He was clearly interfering via coming too close to comfort. Then all that happened. And new video released that apparently people are saying that is AI. It's a video of him being violent. Holy crap, a man who has a gun who is violent. Wow, that is amazing. Would you want someone to have a gun who is violent like that? Don't mind him being a fucking nurse or whatever crap he is. I don't really care. You know me. If you look at me and if you met me, you wouldn't know that I have a lot. I am rather well tactically trained. I am well trained. You in weapons and in not in fighting because I am rather small. I can't do much with my size, but give me a gun, I can take on the world, metaphorically speaking. But you don't know much about me. I work on computers. The stuff I've told you on my YouTube channel. I work on computers. I take computers apart. I review Nintendo DS games. I collect retro and old things. I listen to jazz. I'm not like, oh, I hunt all the time. I'm out in the woods building a fort in a tree. I'm eating bark from a tree. I have a jacked up Jeep. I am a man of Ford, beer, vodka, and piss water. No, you think I wouldn't even know how to hold a gun? That's what I'm very proud of that. But yes, if you looked at me and if I told you my interests besides the autism about guns, you'd know that hey, this kid, this child, I'm not worried about him. Not worried about him at all. No. Well, if I tell you, yeah, I have a lot of guns. I train with them. I clean my guns. I know everything about them. I take them apart once a month. I take them apart once a month, or even if I'm bored, I do it twice a day, twice a week. Usually when I'm bored, I spend a lot of times with my weapons to get to know them and respect them and know how they work and know each and every part of them. I just recently completed dismantling of my Mosin gun, my M39, 38, M38 Mosin gun, and I love that gun so much. But I know what's behind it, and I respect it as a tool of a lot of bad people use. And now hearing that, you're like, oh crap, he's really into weapons. He's all into this. I wouldn't probably mess with this dude if he has a gun. And guess what? Just completely night and day. You see a guy who is a nurse, allegedly, apparently. Even though they showed a photo of him helping some VAs, even though the photo was AI. That's great. And you think of him, oh, he can't hurt a fly. You think of me. Oh, he likes old retro things. He takes apart computers. He's a nerd. But guess what? You don't know all about him. And this goes back to the fact that police officers or anybody doesn't know anything about you unless they're personal with you. So, what I was getting at that is that don't judge a book by its cover. How cliche and overused and overdone and done to death and 6 feet under that quote has been done with, it's still a quote that is true and still being used. So, I now understand why the main reason why I was like hesitated to upload the original video that's tacked onto this is because, well, I don't know much. I don't know all the proof about it and stuff, and I was really iffy about making the statement of, well, I should have went over there. Now reading some more videos and looking into it and thinking about it, it really makes sense. The reason why they went over there is because he was being personal. He was getting too close to comfort. And now it just came to me the reason why, and another reason that this could have been avoided, or another reason that he got shot. Another bad reason that he got shot is he is a man with known violence. I don't care if he was a nurse. He kicked He destroyed property. He's a violent man with a gun. He destroyed property. If you make the argument, oh, it's just a car. Okay, cool. What about people? What about people in relationships? The man doesn't hit the woman, but he punches a hole through the wall. I hear a lot of times, whoa, that wall could have been her. Could have been her next time. What if that IS officer's car, SUV, I think it was a Ford like Explorer. What if that SUV could have been a person next time? That is a complete, and you may, Sarge, that's so extreme, but no, it's not. It's a man who is violent, who is armed, a violent armed man. If I saw a man do something like that, who was armed, and he was armed during that assault on a vehicle, I would have ran away from him. I would have backed the fuck up. Even though myself, I am always armed. I never leave the house with a gun. Even if I'm going to take a freaking mail, I'm carrying a gun. Even if I have a gun on my own, I am not gonna do anything about it, because guess what? Not my problem. Unless he comes to me, he or she comes to me, starting to become, violent against me. That's the only time I'm gonna do something about it. But I'm not gonna do anything about it. It just shows that even then, he was still a violent man. A violent man. And guess what? This supports my original assumption. Protesters are violent. They are violent. These kinds of protests are violent. It supports my what is it? Cliche assumption. I guess it's called an assumption, but there's another word for it. I totally forgot about it. But it supports my assumption. And you can call me whatever you want. But at the end of the day, I was right. He was violent. I was about to say was. I was about to say is. Nah, he was. He ain't here anymore. He was violent. He was a very violent man. It's a shame they didn't arrest him there, because he would have still been alive. But he was a violent man, and a violent armed man. If you don't consider someone punching or kicking a car just because it was Ice's car or something else like that, I don't know what to tell you. That's violence. Even if the guy, okay, scenario. I shoot somebody in self-defense. I'm a violent person. Even though everything is legal, still violent. I am still a violent person. Even if it was freaking the very popular, extremely popular back in the 1900s German man. Even if I, did something about him about it, I would still be a violent man. Might have done a good thing, but at the end of the day, I did something violent. Even if I did something so righteously right, if I did an act of violence, I am still considered a violent man. Now, take of that as you will. If you consider all violent people bad people, sure. Don't look at the context. If you consider a violent person violent, but it's a good thing because you were acting in self-defense, or or the individual was protecting others around him. Congratulations, it's violence used in a good way, in self-defense. But still, you have a violent man who destroyed property for a cause that he can't do much about, who is armed. It's still really bad. It is still really, really bad. And that's when I say, I don't mind saying things honest. I don't like sugarcoating things. When I say somebody is violent, they are the definition of violent. Is it a good violent? Is it a bad violent? That's when you add in context. The context is, oh, he kicked a vehicle because he was in a protest. An American protest. Let me add that too. An American protest. American protests are built on peacefulness. The whole point of protesting is being peaceful. He went to a protest being violent. Look at that context. That context does a lot. Protests should not be violent. And anybody who says otherwise, they are moronic. They are moronic. An American protest done in an American way should not be violent. You could do it. You could do it as you will in freaking in the other places. I don't care. You're not here. That's fine. You do you. But you should do it the way it's made to be in America. And they didn't do that. And guess what? That is the one thing. If it even wasn't even a protest, no, even then, he was still being violent to a government agency that is doing good things. Any way you look at it is really bad. But still, he went to a protest being violent. Which again supports my grand assumption, my 100 IQ play, that a lot of the majority of protesters are violent. Given the context of the protest. They're protesting about... Look, okay, great example. Back in the day, I totally forgot when this happened. When the actors, was it voice actors or actors, did a protest. They boycotted. I heard nothing about any violence. They just sat there and held up signs. And you know what? I respected that so much. That is a good protest. I would assume nobody there would be violent. And now when you hear ICE protest, you hear, oh my goodness, it's like Chicago. It's Chicago. It's Portland. Yeah, really bad. So yeah, my assumption, my thing still stands. What happened was a product of him not doing proper percussions and him just being a dumbass. There's a lot of people out there being dumbass. Next time you decide to do a protest, think of it. What are my actions? Don't mind the context behind those actions. What are my actions? Are they violent? Are they peaceful? Are they not peaceful. Are they violent? Are they non-violent? Okay. With my actions there, with context, what does it do? I'm here at a protest being non-violent. Wow. I respect you. You're going at a protest being non-violent. I respect you. I would even judge you if your best friend decided to throw rocks. If you were doing nothing, and you have proof of you doing nothing, guess what? I respect you. You should have done something about your friend, but at the same time, you did nothing about it. So you weren't violent a single bit. But yeah, and even I will still judge you. It's like, dude, why are you with someone who's violent? That's freaking wrong. But yeah, I would have a smidge of respect for you. But guess what? You decided to go to a protest with the context of, I'm going to be violent. I am at a protest. I am participating in the protest, being violent. Congratulations. You just so stupid. So moronic. So stupid. So my context still is my view is still here. I don't care he was a nurse. I don't care who he was. You are being what you are at this time. You are being a violent person at a protest with a fucking gun. And you didn't do anything right when it comes to the officers coming at you. You can make the excuse, well, they didn't do anything last time. Well, they kind of wanted to get out of there in the first place. And last thing they want to do is shoot somebody. And at the same time, you weren't there. You aren't the officers. What happens in that split second of you going to somebody and the adrenaline kicking in your butt and doing what you're doing is completely different than the other one. And completely different between you just standing there and doing nothing, blowing whistles, doing blowjobs. It's completely dumb. They could have absolutely just looked over the gun. And I honestly think they just wanted to get out of there because of those crazy lunatics there, those violent people. So they didn't shoot because they probably just didn't want to be there, and they most likely looked over it. So, and I don't really care about last time. That's last time. This is this time. That last time gave no context, gave no supporting anything. And this is this time. And this time what happened was really bad, really sad that someone died. But given to context who that someone was, I don't care. I really don't care. Like I said, it's natural selection. You decided to be violent, and you picked a fight with the wrong people. I'm sorry you died, but it's natural selection. This might be the last thing I'm gonna say about it, because I wanted to wait and hold off the information on it. I'm actually gonna keep the bottom of this video open, the little section cut open for the date and time of me saying this, of me recording the video. You can say that could be faked, I don't care, but yeah, it's sad what happened. It's probably the last time I'm gonna say anything about it, because my stuff is still there. The only one thing I want to go back on is the reason why they came over to him, and the fact, and to reiterate the fact that he was a violent man before any of this. So yeah, so George signing off. Make sure to check out the main channel, because this is most likely on the side channel, because I don't want to associate this politics with my main channel, because my main channel is for vibing and stuff. The side channel is for stuff genuinely like this, something that you may consider political or out of the ordinary to the main channel. So George signing off. Make sure to vibe on.